one of the questions people would like to know, especially for those who are mobbed, is about lawsuit. So why would we can call that the myth of lawsuit. So I would like to listen to your opinion about that, because you both have lots of experience, and you have done this for so many years, this research. So this would be, the audience will be very interested.
Well, as one employment lawyer once told me, and he represented the plaintiffs, he says, once you file a lawsuit against your employer, you have already lost. And I think that gets to the many myths of it. One myth is people think that that your employer is afraid of a lawsuit. If you tell them, I'm going to sue you, that they're going to be afraid. And no, if they were afraid of the lawsuit, they would have respected the law in the first place. Another myth is people think that it will settle quickly. No. Most cases, if they do settle, they settle right before trial. And usually for very low sums. By the time they get to that settlement, there's been tremendous damage. Damage to the discovery process can include, if you file a claim for emotional distress, every therapist you've ever seen has to turn over your records. Your medical records can be subpoenaed. Your neighbors will be interviewed. Your coworkers will all be interviewed. Every email you ever sent is going to be produced in discovery, and your coworkers will have to produce emails that they may have exchanged with you bitching about their boss. And they're not going to be happy that they have to produce those emails. So the myth that it's going to be easy and quick is a myth. That you'll find justice. Justice is rarely found through a lawsuit. So much damage is done. In my own case, I settled it for a very high figure. And if I had it to do over again, I never would consider it, because the stress was ongoing. The discovery process is so invasive. And importantly, with a lawsuit, they're going to double down on trying to prove you were a bad employee. And no one is going to hire you. Once you've sued your employer, no one wants to touch you for a job. So, like the lawyer said, once you file a lawsuit, you've already lost. The damage is far greater than the justice.
My research supports the thrust of what you've just said, Janice. Brian Martin, who's a very good researcher in Australia of whistleblowing and mobbing and related topics.
Yeah, I think he gave an opening remark.
Yes.
In 2025.
Yes. He's a first-rate scholar, and he maintains a large website. His summary position is distrust established mechanisms of dispute resolution. That is to say, if in a unionized workplace, there's going to be a grievance procedure. There's probably a procedure in human resources to file a complaint or something like that. And then there's always the courts. Generally, you're going to lose. However, what I have found is that many, if not most, mobbing targets are highly principled people. They believe in the law, and they think that the law is going to save them. And so if you tell them, pack it up, cut your losses, and go find another job, they're going to say, no, screw you. You're telling me to cave in to these oppressive, wicked people, and I'm not going to do it. And so then, and I know cases of mobbing targets who have lost everything, meaning not just their money, but their families, their reputations, and years of their lives, fighting battles that I could have told them in the first place and that other people did tell them in the first place they couldn't win. So I'd like to say a word in defense of those people who fight hopeless lawsuits. One advantage is that the lawsuit is a way of getting evidence out in the open on the table. And that's an enduring good thing. Because what mobbing thrives on is the suppression of evidence, that everything's going to remain secret.
Yes.
When things go to court, lots of information becomes public that would otherwise not be public. And that means that for a researcher like me of workplace mobbing, I have valued enormously the public information that has been gotten by mobbing targets who, in the long run, lost their cases but nonetheless made a huge contribution.
Exactly. That's just another myth of the lawsuit is like what you both just said.
I want to add one more thing to the myth that, building on what Ken just said, there is a myth that if you do settle, you have to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, and you can never talk about it. I simply refused. And so they gave up.
Yeah.
There was just like, that's not going to happen. You're not going to suppress my speech. This is my story, and I will not give up the right to tell it. And I think that every mobbing target should understand that. Even if your lawyer says, oh, you have to sign an NDA, just say no.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing I also want to add. So I really appreciate. I call that what Janice, your work are so pioneering. Like what you said, provide you the rich raw material. Otherwise, you will never do that. So yes, like the purpose. Why would we do this program today? Why would we be here today? It's just we want to benefit a larger population.
Could I add one other thing, Qingli?
Sure.
It's very hard to suggest general rules in this regard. What I have urged many, many mobbing targets is to sit down with a sheet of paper in front of you, draw a line down the middle. On the left-hand side, put what are your resources? How much money do you have? How much family support do you have? How strong is your own constitution? And then what are the resources of the institution over here? How much money does it have? And then decide what's best for you. Because what's right for one person is not right for another person. Janice's advice to refuse to sign the non-disclosure agreement, I really value that advice. But for some mobbing targets who have signed such agreements, I have understood completely why they did it.
Yes.
That what was on the line was their own sanity, how they'd reached the limit of what they could do. And so I certainly wouldn't blame them for having signed the non-disclosure agreement.
Once you settle a lawsuit or forego the lawsuit and walk away, or lose the lawsuit, the mobbing ends. And that in itself, so even if you lose a lawsuit, the healing can begin.
Yeah.
Yes. So just continuing with what you had just discussed, continue with what I just mentioned, the purpose for this workplace mobbing education program series is we are here to help people. I can share some statistics. It's amazing. So since about 3 months ago, the World Association for Research on Workplace Mobbing, our newly established organization, we just published our website and the mobbing related thing in the on the social media. We already received about 4 million views from all over the world. So many people. There are so many people. They would so interested. I cannot say that these 4 million people, they were mobbed, but at least they had some experience of this, or they witnessed some of the experience. So like what we just talk about, the myth of lawsuit. So what the future would look like. So how to make it a better place. Those are the questions I think for all of us we need to think about. And I wish the audience will also think about that, and then join the community, the science of the workplace mobbing community. Let's work together and make it a better place.